Marvel has thousands of characters. Not all of them are winners. Some are embarrassing. Some are offensive. Some are so problematic that Marvel pretends they never existed. These aren't just bad characters. These are characters that reflect the worst of comic book history. Racism, sexism, tone-deaf storytelling, creative decisions that aged like milk. Marvel spent decades trying to bury these characters, hoping fans forget, praying they never get adapted to film. But the internet remembers everything. Let's talk about 15 characters Marvel desperately wants you to forget. 1. Whitewash Joan. Summer 1941. Young Allies #1 hit the stands. Creators Joe Simon and Jack Kirby introduced Bucky Barnes' kid sidekick team. 4 new characters: Jefferson, Jeff, Sanderville, the Brainy Kid, Percival Knuckles O'Toole, the Tough Kid, Henry Tubby Tinkle, the Fat Kid, and Washington Carver Jones, nicknamed Whitewash, the most racist character in comic book history. Whitewash was drawn in blackface minstrel style, exaggerated lips, monkey-like features, everything from the worst racial stereotypes of the 1940s. His first line in comics? About watermelon. He spoke in broken English. Ghostaces instead of ghosts, played harmonica, bumbling idiot who couldn't do anything right. Even by 1941 standards, this was offensive. The character appeared in Young Allies comics for 20 issues, fighting Nazis alongside Captain America's allies. The irony was thick. Marvel eventually tried to fix it. Young Allies 75th Anniversary Special, 2009. Writer Roger Stern and artist Paulo Rivera retconned everything. They revealed that the original Young Allies comics were propaganda, sensationalized fiction. The real Washington Carver Jones was a dignified hero, not a racist caricature, but damage was done. Whitewash Jones remains Marvel's darkest shame. They'll never bring him to the MCU. Second Mandrill. June 1973. Shauna the She-Devil #4. Writer Carol Suling and artist Ross Andrew created Jerome Beachman, born to white parents. The nuclear accident gave him black fur, ape-like features. Parents abandoned him in the desert. He became Mandrill, and his superpower was horrifying. He secretes pheromones that control women. Not men, just women. The pheromones make women attracted to him, obedient, submissive, slaves. Mandrill used this to build harems. From all-female cults, the Femazons. Women in revealing outfits follow his every command. It's as creepy as it sounds. The character is a confessed misogynist, hates women, keeps multiple wives as slaves, uses them for sexual purposes. His powers only work on women because the writers thought that was a good idea in 1973. Black Widow fell under his control, Spider-Woman, others. Marvel brought him back occasionally. Defenders, Thunderbolts, She-Hulk, but they can't escape what he represents. Sexual slavery, coercion, mind-controlled consent. She-Hulk, attorney at law, referenced him as an Easter egg in 2022. A Mandrill icon appeared on the Intelligentsia board, the misogynistic online hate group. Perfect placement, but that's as close as Marvel will ever get to actually using him. Mandrill will never appear in live action. 3. Marcus Immortus. September 1980. Avengers #200. Writers David Michelini, Jim Shooter, Bob Layton. Artists George Perez and Dan Green. Carol Danvers discovered she was pregnant 3 months along. No memory of how. The pregnancy progressed impossibly fast. 3 days later, she gave birth to a baby boy who aged rapidly, became a full-grown man in hours. His name was Marcus Immortus. Then came the twist that made this one of the most controversial stories in Marvel history. Marcus revealed the truth. He was Carol's baby, and he impregnated her. While she was in limbo, Marcus used Immortus' technology to pull Carol there, seduce her, make her fall in love with him, get her pregnant with himself. Carol had no memory of any of this, no consent. It was an assault, manipulation, mind control, resulting in forced pregnancy. And here's the worst part. The Avengers were fine with it. They let Carol leave with Marcus, back to Limbo, to be with the man who assaulted her. Iron Man joked about being jealous. Thor smiled. Captain America gave his blessing. Nobody recognized this as rape. Fans immediately revolted. Letters poured in. The outrage was deafening. Avengers Annual number 10, 1981. Chris Claremont fixed it. Carol returned, furious, called out the Avengers for their failure. Jim Shooter later apologized, said the story should never have been published, called it a massive editorial failure. Marcus Immortus never appeared again. The storyline was buried, forgotten. Marvel's most shameful Avengers story. 4. Yellow Claw. October 1956. Yellow Claw #1. Atlas Comics. Pre-Marvel. Creators Joe Maneely and Al Feldstein. Plan Chu was a Chinese villain, immortal through elixirs. Skin turned yellow from the potions. Everything about him screamed a racist stereotype. Fu Manchu ripoff. Yellow peril propaganda, exaggerated Asian features, sinister Chinese mastermind trying to conquer America. The character appeared throughout the 1950s and 60s. Fought Nick Fury, SHIELD agents. Jimmy Woo. Marvel tried updating him, made him less overtly racist, changed some design elements. But they couldn't escape the core problem. The character was built on yellow peril racism, fear of Asian immigration, Chinese villains as existential threats. By the 2000s, Marvel quietly retired him. Stopped using him in stories. Too offensive, too dated, too embarrassing. Yellow Claw will never appear in the MCU. The name alone guarantees that. Marvel learned their lesson. When they introduced Jimmy Woo and Ant-Man and the Wasp, they left Yellow Claw out entirely. Some characters deserve to stay buried. 5 Star Fox/Eros. February 1973. Iron Man number 55. Writer Mike Friedrich. Artist Jim Starlin. Eros of Titan. Brother of Thanos. Joined the Avengers as Star Fox. Charming. Handsome. Powerful. And his superpower. He stimulates pleasure centers in people's brains. Makes them feel euphoria, joy, attraction, whatever emotion he wants. For years, this was played as harmless. Star Fox was the fun Avenger, the ladies' man, the charmer. Then She-Hulk number 6 to 7, 2006. Writer Dan Slott asked the question nobody wanted answered. If Star Fox can make women attracted to him, is that consent? A woman sued Star Fox for sexual assault, claimed he used his powers to sleep with her. She had no choice. The trial revealed Star Fox had been doing this for decades, using his euphoria powers to seduce women, making them think they wanted him. She-Hulk had to defend him. The case got messy. Moondragon physically examined him. Verdict: Star Fox had used his powers inappropriately, multiple times. He didn't think of it as assault. He thought he was just helping people feel good. But removing someone's ability to consent is assault. Marvel tried to walk this back, said Star Fox learned his lesson, reformed, but the damage was done. Star Fox appeared in Eternals, 2021, played by Harry Styles. They didn't mention his powers implications. Smart move. Marvel's not touching that storyline with a 10-foot pole. 6GOSAMYR. October 1989. New Mutants number 66. Writer Louise Simonson. Artist Brett Blevins. Gossamer, ancient alien. Uses her looks and empathic powers to seduce men. Already problematic. Coercive powers. Dubious consent. Then, New Mutants number 68 happened. Gossamer tried to seduce Jack Power, an 8-year-old boy. Jack Power, from Power Pack, literal child. Gossamer leaned in, flirted, used her powers on him, made him feel attracted to her, an adult alien sexually targeting a child. The issue was treated as a comedy. Jack's siblings pulled him away. Everyone laughed. Nobody addressed how wrong this was. Fans were horrified. Letters to Marvel poured in. What were you thinking? Marvel quietly dropped Gossamer. She disappeared from comics. Occasionally mentioned, never brought back. For obvious reasons. The character represents one of Marvel's worst editorial failures. A scene that should never have been published. Gossamer will never appear in anything ever again. 7. Ultimate Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. December 2008. Ultimates 3 number 1. Writer Jeff Loeb. Artist Joe Madureira. The Ultimate Universe was supposed to be edgy, modern, shocking. Sometimes it went too far. Ultimates 3 revealed Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's secret. They weren't just siblings. They were in a romantic relationship. Incest. Brother and sister. Kissing. Sleeping together. In love. The other Ultimates discovered this. Captain America was disgusted, but Wasp defended them. Called Cap old-fashioned for being bothered by sibling incest. Fans hated this. It served no narrative purpose. Just shock value. Look how edgy we are. The relationship continued through the storyline. Nobody really stopped them. When the MCU introduced Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, they eliminated this immediately. Brother and sister. Period. No weird implications. Marvel learned. Some edgy ideas are just bad ideas. The Ultimate Universe eventually died. Nobody mourned this particular storyline. 8. Trouble. September 2003. Trouble number 1. Writer Mark Miller. Artist Terry Dodson. Marvel's attempt to revive 1950s romance comics. The story followed 4 teenagers on a beach vacation. May, Ben, Richard, Mary. May and Mary were roommates. Ben and Richard were friends. Over 5 issues, May got pregnant. Teen pregnancy, sex, beach romance. Very un-Marvel. Then the final issue revealed the twist. May, Ben, Richard, Mary. These were Aunt May, Uncle Ben, Richard Parker, and Mary Parker, Spider-Man's aunt and uncle. Peter's parents, as horny teenagers. The baby May gave birth to? Richard and Mary raised it. That baby was Peter Parker. Wait, what? The series implied Aunt May was Peter's biological mother. Uncle Ben was his father. Richard Parker raised him as his own. Fans revolted. You made Aunt May a teen mom? Marvel backpedaled fast. Said Trouble wasn't canon. Different universe. Not the real Aunt May. The series flopped. Ended at number 5. Never referenced again. Mark Miller later called it one of his worst ideas. Marvel pretends Trouble never happened. 9. Sins Past. June 2004. The Amazing Spider-Man, number 509. Writer J. Michael Straczynski. Artist Mike Deodato Jr. Gwen Stacy, Peter Parker's first love. Died in 1973. Stayed dead. Her death defined Spider-Man. Then JMS decided to add a dark twist to her legacy. Gwen Stacy had an affair with Norman Osborn. Had his children in secret. Before her death, Gwen traveled to Europe. Got pregnant by the Green Goblin, the man who eventually killed her. She gave birth to twins, Gabriel and Sarah. Norman raised them in secret. Fans were furious. This retroactively made Gwen a cheater, destroyed her relationship with Peter, ruined her legacy. Why would Gwen sleep with Norman Osborn? The story never explained it. The storyline suggested manipulation. Maybe Norman drugged her, maybe worse. Either way, it was character assassination. Sins Past became one of the most hated Spider-Man stories ever. Amazing Spider-Man, number 73, 2021. Writer Nick Spencer retconned it. Gabriel and Sarah weren't Gwen's children. They were clones. Harry Osborn created them as part of a manipulation scheme. Gwen never slept with Norman, never had his children. The entire story was fake. Marvel erased Sins Past from continuity. Admitted it was a mistake. Took 17 years, but they fixed it. 10. Big Bertha. July 1989. West Coast Avengers, number 46. Writer John Byrne. Artist Al Milgrom. Ashley Crawford, supermodel, member of the Great Lakes Avengers. Her power? She can transform into a massively overweight, super strong woman. Big Bertha, 600 plus pounds. Immense strength. Virtually invulnerable. The entire joke was, look how fat she is. Her thin form was beautiful, desirable, successful. Her powered form was treated as gross, embarrassing, comedy relief. Other characters made fat jokes. She made fat jokes about herself. The character played into every negative stereotype about weight. Fat equals funny. Fat equals unattractive. Fat equals something to be ashamed of. Readers were divided. Some saw empowerment, a woman using her size as power. Others saw mockery, a character whose entire concept was being fat is bad. Marvel tried to rehabilitate her, made her more serious, gave her actual character development, but they couldn't escape the core problem. Big Bertha's design and concept are rooted in fat phobia. Her power is becoming the thing society sees as undesirable. She appeared in the MCU, Hawkeye series, 2021, briefly. No transformation shown. Marvel's not touching that aspect of the character. 11 Jin Genie. July 2001. X-Force number 116. Writer Peter Milligan. Artist Mike Allred. X-Force got a controversial reboot. New team, new direction, darker humor. Jin Genie joined the team. Real name, Becca Parker. Her mutant power. She creates seismic waves, but only when drunk. The drunker she got, the more powerful she became. Marvel made alcoholism a superpower. Jin Genie had to drink to be useful. Her teammates encouraged her to drink, handed her bottles before missions. The book played it for laughs. Look at the drunk girl. Except alcoholism isn't funny. It's a disease. Addiction destroys lives. Making a character's power dependent on substance abuse sends a terrible message. Drink more equals become more powerful. Jin Genie died in X-Statix number 1, 2002. Killed on her first mission. The character lasted 6 issues, never brought back. Marvel realized making alcoholism a superpower was a bad idea. Too late, but at least they learned. 12. The Sentry. September 2000, The Sentry number 1. Writer Paul Jenkins. Artist Jay Lee. Bob Reynolds. The Forgotten Hero. Superman-level powers. Agoraphobic, mentally ill, unstable. His dark side was called the Void. The Sentry had immense power. Could rip Carnage in half. fight Hulk to a standstill, but he also had severe mental health issues: agoraphobia, schizophrenia, depression. The Void was his dark personality, destroyer, monster, pure evil. Sentry couldn't exist without the Void. They were one person. The character was controversial from the start. Mental illness as a superpower, or a curse, or both. Sentry joined the Avengers, became a liability, murdered his wife, attacked teammates. Siege, 2010. Sentry fully became the Void, destroyed Asgard, killed Ares. Thor killed him. Marvel brought him back anyway, multiple times. Each return made him worse, more unstable, more violent. Fans were split. Some loved the tragic figure. Others found him exhausting. The character represents Marvel's struggle with mental health portrayals, sometimes thoughtful, often problematic, always controversial. 13. Spider-Man, Reign. December 2006. Spider-Man, Reign #1. Writer, Care Andrews, Dark Future. Spider-Man retired. New York under fascist control. Mary Jane is dead. How did she die? From Peter's radioactive bodily fluids. Years of exposure. Peter's radioactive blood, sweat, other fluids. Mary Jane developed cancer. Died slowly, painfully. Peter Parker's love literally killed her. The comic didn't shy away from the implications. Showed Peter's guilt, his horror. But fans found it ridiculous. Gross. Unnecessary. Did we need to know Spider-Man's fluids are radioactive? The story itself was praised. Dark, thoughtful, well written. But the radioactive fluids detail overshadowed everything. It became a joke. Memes everywhere. Spider-Man's radioactive sperm killed Mary Jane. Marvel never referenced it again. Treated Reign as non-canon. Some details are better left unexplored. 14. Captain Hydra. May 2016. Captain America, Steve Rogers #1. Writer, Nick Spencer. Artist, Jesus Size. Hail Hydra. 2 words. Final page. Captain America revealed as a Hydra agent. Fans went insane. Death threats to Nick Spencer. Comics burned on YouTube. Outrage everywhere. Secret Empire. 2017. The full event. Hydra Cap took over America. Created a fascist state. Imprisoned heroes in camps. Killed some of them. For a year, this was real. Captain America as a Nazi. Leading Hydra. Eventually revealed Cosmic Cube. Altered reality. Real. Steve is trapped in a cube prison. Real Steve broke free, beat Hydra Steve, restored everything, but fans never forgave it. Using a character created by 2 Jewish men to fight Nazis, making him a Nazi, even temporarily. It felt like a betrayal. A slap in the face to Jack Kirby and Joe Simon's legacy. Sales dropped. The event was universally hated. Critics called it Marvel's worst storyline. Marvel tried to move on. Pretend it didn't happen. Secret Empire is never mentioned anymore. References scrubbed, buried. The most controversial Marvel event of the 2010s. And Marvel wants you to forget it existed. 15. Purple Man, Kilgrave. June 1964. Daredevil #4. Writer Stan Lee. Artist Joe Orlando. Zebediah Kilgrave. Exposed to chemicals, turned his skin purple, gave him mind control powers. He can make anyone do anything. For years, the character was a standard villain. Mind control, fighting Daredevil. Nothing special. Then, Jessica Jones. 2001. Writer Brian Michael Bendis revealed the horrifying truth. Kilgrave used his powers to kidnap Jessica, control her for months, rape her repeatedly. She had no free will, no ability to resist. He made her want him. When she finally broke free, the trauma destroyed her. PTSD. Couldn't be a hero anymore. Kilgrave represents the darkest side of mind control. Not just control, but sexual slavery, prolonged assault, psychological torture. The Netflix Jessica Jones series adapted this brilliantly. David Tennant as Kilgrave. Terrifying. Sympathetic. Monster. But the comics version was worse. No redeeming qualities. Pure evil. Marvel keeps using him, but carefully. He's too good a villain to abandon, but too dark to use lightly. Every appearance requires content warnings. Careful handling. Purple Man is Marvel's most effective horror villain, and they wish he weren't quite so effective. 85 years of comics. Not every decision aged well. Some characters were products of their time. Others were just terrible ideas from the start. Marvel's tried to bury them, but the internet never forgets. Which character shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments. And for more deep dives into comic book history's darkest moments, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell. See you in the next one.